It's Thursday night. You know what that means. Welcome to Pals Pulls. Say hello if you're watching live. The gang's all here. We got Tyler.
Hello.
Marco.
I decided to show up.
Kale.
Yeah, I'm here too.
And
Sorry.
I'm here too. We've got 4 books to talk about.
Count them.
Last week, I neglected to mention this, but last week we did no Marvel books, which was pretty unique for a podcast hosted by someone who's obsessed with Marvel. This week it almost happened, but I couldn't justify doing another Flashpoint review. So we are doing one Marvel this week. Hello, Trap Zord. What's up? So we got Dark Crisis #1.
Can you open up that bad boy for us? I want to see that double cover.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, bend the spine for me. There
Oh
we
yeah,
go.
definitely.
Oh, it's a 9. It's like an 8.2 now. There we go. 9.8 my ass.
We got Aquaman on Andromeda.
Oh,
Hotly anticipated.
I'm getting it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got mine. Oh, hey.
Whoa!
First
There you
physical
go.
purchase of the Pals Pulls on this end of the pond.
Look like gloss on it. The production value on those black label things are so good.
Excellent.
We got Poison Ivy #1.
Okay.
Yeah, you would pick that cover.
Yeah.
Who's that cover?
It's Poison Ivy.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay, good job, Sean.
Let me see. I'm actually not sure.
I'll figure it out. You keep going.
All right. Cool. And last but not least, we have Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor. This one is by a Stormbreaker.
Oh,
Whoa!
Young Gun?
It's
No.
not a Young Gun. It is a Stormbreaker. Carmen Carnero.
Great artist. She did Kelly Thompson's Captain Marvel. Good stuff. Tasty
So
stuff.
we got some meaty books to talk about today. Before we get into all that, go ahead, Tyler.
It's the artist on it is Warren Liu on your cover.
Okay.
Yeah, you picked the smut cover. Good job.
I mean, my God, what are you? Why would you say that?
I'm looking at the variants. It's like everyone is the sexy, cheesecake. What's the vegetation version of cheesecake?
eggplant.
Bean
Broccoli?
cake. There's
Anyway,
beefcake, there's cheesecake. Go on,
you
Sean,
can
go on.
support the show in all manner of ways. One of which being heading on over to patreon.com/comicspals. For as little as $3 a month, you can support the show. Check out our content. We're offering our newsletters now at the $3 tier. So if you want to check those out and you haven't yet, you can head on over and do that. Tyler's newsletter came out this week. Lots of cool stuff happening on our Patreon page. If you want to watch this show live, twitch.tv/thecomicspals, 6 p.m. Eastern every single Thursday. Saturdays at 10:15 Eastern in the morning. That's AM. For the main show. We're going to be talking about what's the evil version of the Justice League? Not the evil version, but like what's their enemy team?
The Avengers.
The Justice Society or
No.
the
Legion of Doom.
Crime Syndicate? Okay. there's like
So
Legion of Doom.
we're going to be talking about the Legion of Doom this weekend. We've got Reverse Flash. We've got who can Amber Heard be?
oh my god.
We-
Honestly,
Black
Giganta.
Mantress.
I'm down for it.
You know what?
I'm down
Yeah.
for it. You imagine that
Yeah.
the size of that dump.
what?
I missed
Oh.
it too.
Did you? No?
I don't know what I heard.
No.
The
You
size
heard
of
what
that-
exactly what you thought you heard. Amber
the
heard
size
it.
of that dump.
Yeah.
All right.
don't mean
What's
the
up, the
dumping
medic?
either.
Let's get into our first review. Let's get into Dark Crisis. So this is the book we've all been waiting for. Dark Crisis #1. Joshua Williamson, Daniel Samper on art, Alejandro Sanchez on colors. Tom Napolitano did the letters. Chapter 1, The Justice League is dead. And that's all anyone could talk about. I I have been looking forward to this event since they first announced it way back when. I love me a good crisis. That's a name with some cachet to it. These books are supposed to matter. From top to bottom, I would say that this was pretty smack dab in the middle of the road as a comic book.
Well, you would give it that much.
Maybe less. I can be talked into less, but for now, that's where I'm at.
Oh,
I think the art
interesting.
gives it a little bit of a bump up for me. I really like the art.
It's an event, though.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that let's start with the story. So the story is simply that the League is dead, and in the aftermath of that, the villains are out in force. They are, making their big plays. All the Doomsday cults and groups are, coming out in force. And John Kent wants to start a new league, but mostly people are not down to do that. And he's being doubted by Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and others. Meanwhile, Nightwing gives encouraging speeches. That's pretty much this comic book. And when I say encouraging, I mean irrelevant.
Thanks.
It just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like anything. Like the League is dead, so you spend the first issue of a 7-issue event comic saying, "Oh, do you want to join the League? No, all right. Hey, do you want to join the Justice League? No, all right. Hey, do you want to be on the League?" And you get to the point where it's like you're asking Harley Quinn to be on the Justice League.
Sean, if John Kent came up to you and said, "You want to be on the Justice League?" what would you say?
Hell no, man. I ain't got no damn powers.
Okay.
You know what? Hey, fair.
I mean,
I'll be the first one dead.
You know what? That makes you the smartest man on the planet because Bruce Wayne has no powers and
true.
is on the Justice League. That's dumb.
That is dumb, but at least he's rich. I'm poor. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to do anything.
look at the power set. Harley Quinn, her power, mental illness.
Oh, shit. You might fit right in.
I know I would. I'm like,
They
this is a
asked-
lineup I can work on.
They asked Peacemaker.
That was funny.
I
America
kind of like
comes
that
first
actually.
all the time.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like that whole thing to me was just like, I don't know, kind of lame. Like it's fine, I guess. I wish this was happening in like Justice League 76.
Or
You know?
the road to Dark
Right.
Crisis or whatever the fuck. Like
Right.
this book should have been what the last 3 pages were.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think my and I agree with you guys. I think I'm a little down on this book too because I've read Road to Dark Crisis, because I read the prelude in Justice League 76, and I read the Free Comic Book Day thing. It felt like since Justice League, nothing's moved. Like we've been treading water, and I was hoping for like something here, but no, this felt like, oh, they're just restating what I already know. Like I know they were gonna try and get a new Justice League. You know, Dick and John talked about it previously.
Right.
I know what Pariah's up to. He had his whole, cool little story in Central Park last issue. I wonder if I had just read this without reading the previous two, if I'd like it more. I think I might have actually.
I think so.
Guess-
Yeah.
It's just going nowhere right now because of all the supplemental stuff I've read.
I don't know, man. This is I know we keep hammering this point, but this is the first issue of an event book, and you're gonna spend the first 15 pages trying to put together a new Justice League. You're gonna put a 9-panel grid of everybody in the DC universe telling you no. Come on.
This would be like if the inciting incident of Civil War happened in a random prelude issue, like New Avengers number 35 featured the school explosion. And then you open the pages of Civil War number 1, and the only thing that happens is Cap and Iron Man saying, "Hey, do you want to be pro registration or anti? What do you want to do? What's it going to be? Huh? And that's it.
I'm kind of feeling it a little bit differently. Like as it plays out, yes, but I think I enjoyed the fact that, and I've not seen this before. Right? This is probably one of my first Crisis event So to see all the baddies come out and start, doing their shit, and you got Cobra and you got these cults over here, that to me is entertaining enough for me to see. Okay, John's going around and asking people, but these people are busy. They're wrapped up in like real world shit, real world ramifications coming out of the death, and that to me felt enjoyable. It felt enough to carry me through the book. I feel like I was higher on it than you guys are, but I feel like you guys have also probably seen this stuff in the past.
Yeah, I mean we have, but I don't know, just on a fundamental level. Like I was into it on the first page. Like
Yeah.
the idea of, Nightwing sharing his story about, because Nightwing is like, he's not the main character of DC, but he probably should be. And I'm into his, way, how he's going to deal with this, and him being sort of the voice of the heroes, for lack of a better phrase. I like that part. And I wish we would have spent more time with him. He's there, and then he appears again talking to the Titans, and that's about it. And John is the main character of this book, but I don't really care about John the way he's presented here. I really don't.
He's not doing anything. He's just flying around. None of these guys are necessarily doing. John's not doing anything, and everyone else is just dealing with their own shit in their own way. And as much as that is for a dramatic effect, the fact that we're not tying into something at the end of this, like at the end of this, John goes, "Oh, actually, you know who should be leading this? It's Nightwing versus he's the one rallying the people." And I think that would have made more sense and made for a more enjoyable story here.
Well, I would actually say I kind of like that idea that, John's the one actually trying to do something. But even Black Adam's like, it should be Nightwing. And Nightwing's the one that's kind of trying to move past things already. But I do think, like, there is no inciting incident here. Like, yeah, the Justice League died previously, but, like, that's a separate... It's almost a separate story. The story
that was
here,
the inciting incident.
Yeah.
And it
But
happened
there's no
off
inciting...
page.
Yeah, but there's no inciting incident for conflict in this until the end. Sort of.
Right.
Like, the entire book is dealing with ramifications that didn't even happen in this book.
Still.
Yeah, and they're not... There's no forward momentum. Even at the end, when you get the whole... the Injustice Society showing up. Sure, that's a big thing, but, like... Why? There's no why there. Like, I think there are seeds here that I like. I like the idea that there might be some conflict between John and Dick, because people view Nightwing as the successor to the Justice League. But I'm sure Nightwing doesn't view it that way. His thing is always pushing the youth.
I don't think that gets set up here. I don't even think that's like...
Black Adam says it. He says, "You are not ready for this role, and you and I both know who should lead a new Justice League." And it cuts to Nightwing. So even, like, Black Adam knows it. So there is some kind of very, very thin conflict that doesn't even actually directly... It's, like, not even direct conflict. It's, like, in between the words.
Yeah.
I think even that's silly. Like, is Black Adam so connected to what the heroes are involved with that he would know that it should be Nightwing? I feel like Black Adam just got into the mix with all these people the other day. And he probably, like, in my mind, he might not have even met Nightwing. So what is this coming from?
So, I mean, it's crazy to think that he's been a Justice League member for, like, 3 years now, But
in
no, I don't.
right?
Yeah, I don't think he's actually
like 10 minutes.
interacted with Nightwing. Nightwing was shot in the head for most of it.
Right.
So I don't know. That last splash panel, though, with all the villains, again, I'm a sucker for that shit.
It looks good. It looks really good.
Speaking of shot in the head, it's cool. Well, I don't know if cool is the word. Offing Beast Boy is kind of a big move. That's a big boy move, Joshua Williamson.
It didn't happen. He probably turned into a fly to dodge the bullet.
I think.
Yeah, you don't see it. So.
It's interesting because, like, to me, had this happened at the beginning of the issue, it would have been more of a, oh shit, nothing is safe than killing the Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final
Also-
Crisis #1, isn't that when Martian Manhunter gets killed off? Like, that's where it's like, oh shit, this shit's a crisis event. You know, and it happens pretty early on, I think, from what I remember. I could be, timing wise, I could be a little
Is
wrong.
that Final Crisis?
Yeah, in Final Crisis, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Also, I feel like the messaging of John's League is not that clear, because I thought this story was supposed to be about the next wave of heroes kind of like staking their claim and, you know, sort of establishing that we don't need the old heroes to be able to save the world. And obviously this is just the first story, so the first issue rather, so there's probably a lot to come, but I feel like Supergirl's not new to the league. You know, Harley Quinn might be, but she's not like a new character. Booster and Blue Beetle are not new characters. Frankenstein's not new. So I don't get what was the concept behind putting these characters together. Is it just supposed to be that this is the league that won't work, and later Batman and Wonder Girl will join and that will be a real league, or like what's the idea?
For me, looking at it, it just seems like a team of heroes that have something to prove. Specifically,
Supergirl?
After what happened in Supergirl 1 of Tomorrow, which is canon and they reference in here, I think so. Yeah.
She's got pants now.
Well, she got pants. Like, you know, all these legacy characters have something to prove. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle are doofuses currently in the DC universe. They have something to prove. Killer Frost was a villain. Technically, I think was a Justice League member, Justice Society member when they had that 50 variant thing. So that's how I view it. Like, these are people with, you know, that are willing to prove something, which shares John's kind of motivation for this too.
I guess that's interesting enough, but to me, it's more than that. It reads as, well, these are the only people that would help.
That's what I felt it as, and like a setup for the punchline that Black Adam would then be like, well, these guys suck. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. I don't know. This is the most first issue of a comic book that I've ever read for an event, and that's not a good thing. Certainly that doesn't mean it can't improve. And, you know, look, obviously, eventually Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman will be back. All the heroes we lost will return. I don't know that I care about that, quite frankly. This book has to sell me on its reason for being, and this issue didn't do that. I do want to briefly touch on the art. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think part of the reason I didn't love it, I kept thinking throughout that the panels were too small. It didn't have, like, there were a lot of panels, and it didn't have that like widescreen event feel that I really enjoy. There were spaces where it did, but a lot of the time it felt like there were things that I would have liked to sit with that were just like a very small panel in a corner somewhere. When we see Brazil for the first time, for example, like the establishing shot of Brazil is fucking tiny. The little flowers and stuff like that, that's all so small. It just doesn't help sell the scale of these things at all. So, you know, we're seeing the whole world, but it's little tiny panels.
It's a really good point. Yeah.
I agree. But I gotta say, I was just gonna say that he does manage to squeeze a lot into those little panels.
He does, but I think it's the fact that he has to squeeze them in.
Right. Sure. He shouldn't have to. Williamson is a writer who's been around for long enough that I think he should know that. To me, especially in events where you have so little space and so much to do, less is more with dialogue. You got to be able to get your shit in without doing this. Part of the spectacle of events is the art. I spent $6 on this comic book and some pairs of good artists. I want to see this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Does a good Yara. You see that next full page?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, were this an event by anyone else, writing wise, I think it probably would have been more like what we expected. But by that same token, I think any other book by what is it? Sampere? Sampere? Sampere. Um any other book by this guy would be tremendous.
Yeah.
It would be a top tier book.
Now I know why Snyder didn't want Crisis in his title.
Fair enough.
Quickly, I also did the letters bug you guys?
Not that I recall.
I don't know, the balloons and the letters to me just didn't feel right
Yes.
either.
I'm looking
It's
at
the
them now,
font.
and I agree.
I think it's the font.
Yeah, I do too.
It's different.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
that's so interesting. There's like weird spacing.
It's one of those things you don't notice until you notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like extra spacing in a few of them. There, in a few of these panels.
The
Actually,
kerning,
page
I think, is the term. Is that right?
the widget.
The kerning between.
Well, and
letters?
I think even on some of the balloons, it's like the lines are like thicker, and it's a little I don't know, it's almost like they're in another book that character would be putting on a voice, right? But this is just thin enough that you almost don't notice, but just thick enough that you do.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm a big fan of Joshua Williamson. I have all the faith in the world in his ability to tell great stories. So I'm not out on this. I would say pull for the fact that it is an event, but only if you care about that. In terms of a recommendation of quality, I can't say that. But for the potential, I would say pull.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say pass.
I'm with you. Oh,
I don't feel like there's anything you need here for the event. The Justice League is dead. Well, you'll get to it, I'm sure, in the first 5 pages of issue 2.
Right. Fair.
If you are inclined to pick it up, I gotta say, it's a cool premise. The villains are gonna tear down Titan's tower. Well, they're gonna kill all the Titans and leave it as a grave. I don't know.
It's not.
I got
not
some heavy
enticing.
hitters in that team.
I don't have
Flamingos on
I
there.
don't have faith based on what I've read so far.
I'll pull it. I'll pull it for the prospect of it potentially getting better. And that's saying that we've been pretty low on, I think, everything leading up to and now with the issue.
The only thing I haven't been low on the Dark Crisis stuff is the friggin' free comic book day issue drawn by Olivier Coipel doing Clayface. Like that alone, it's an instant pull. But it was free too. You can't not pull it, if it's there. I'd pull this one. I'm a sucker. I'm a mark. This is just kind of my thing, and I'm okay to admit that. So,
Okay. Well, let's talk about Aquaman Andromeda, book 1. This is Ram V and Christian Ward with letters by Aditya Bidikar. This is a Black Label book, so it is, that expanded page size.
Absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. This book, I don't really feel like we knew what to expect from. And after reading the first issue, I can tell you right now that I still don't know what to expect.
Yep.
I can I pitch what I feel like this is to me?
Do whatever you want.
This is Prometheus in underwater. If you've ever seen Prometheus,
I'm gonna take that a step further. Is it Event Horizon with Sam Neill where he turns into the devil?
Oh, that is ringing some vague bells.
It's about a crew that's isolated on a space station. They find a planet that ends up being like the portal to hell or something.
What?
And Sam
Whoa.
Neill is the devil.
I mean, but that's a
What?
trope. It's Alien. It's Alien underwater is what
Yeah.
this is. And
Yeah,
once I realized
absolutely.
that's what this was, I was like, yeah, fuck, I'm into it. Because I still don't know where Aquaman actually fits into that.
Yeah.
Like, I think the most compelling stuff was the crew versus this USO, unidentified submerged object. Actual term. I went to
Nice.
a paranormal museum. This is a thing people are interested in.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know where Aquaman fits. And it's tentacles. So I'm into it. With that sounded. Sean, keep
Yeah,
going.
we got it. No.
The art. This is an art showcase book.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Christian Ward is really, really phenomenal. And while this certainly has a lot of talky stuff, there are some times where, especially some of these splashes, where Ward is able to really flex. And I typically hate underwater environments. Don't ask why.
Pirates.
Because right above the water is pirates. That's why.
Yeah. Too close.
It's too close.
And I don't care for stories that take place on the sea. But this book, like just this tentacle shot, right? Like how crazy is that? Look at the scale of that. You know what I mean? Like unbelievable.
Can you do the title sequence that the DC Comics presents, like the second or third page?
Right here.
Yes.
Oh, it's Radiant Black.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That's funny. Yeah. It's a really, really good looking comic book from start to finish. Rom is doing Rom stuff in here for sure, but I don't know. I don't know if it connected for me because it's all kind of like it's all esoteric. Like, so the stuff that he's saying about Aquaman, the stuff that the old woman is saying and all that like narration is all esoteric, and it's not something that I could latch onto. And then there's the stuff with the people aboard the submarine that Tyler referenced, and whatever, like we've seen that kind of thing 100 million times in movies like Alien and stuff like that. What about this? This is what I'm waiting for. What about this is going to feel special and unique? That's the Aquaman stuff, right? That's whatever Rom has to say about Aquaman. But we haven't gotten there yet. Not even close.
Yeah, I feel like the most we got is the bits where it's addressed that he's a man of two worlds.
Right. Which
He
we know.
doesn't- Yeah. He doesn't want to be underwater all the time. And I think that's the emotional bit. He doesn't always want to be doing what he's doing.
I contrasted that with the fact that we have this otherworldly thing that lands in the water, the same way that like man doesn't necessarily want to be on the earth anymore, and because there's so much allusion to space and Andromeda itself as like a separate galaxy, plus anything in terms of the art looks less like water and more like some sort of it actually reminded me of Low in how like it uses a lot of the water aesthetic to push out this sci-fi vibe. And so as much as Aquaman doesn't want to be underwater and more on the surface, we're trying to sort of escape our own I don't know, black hole, for lack of a better example there. And I don't know how it all fits in yet, and that's the one piece that it just felt very loose on, and it didn't ground me. And I think that was the one thing that was missing from this, is something to really ground me to either the crew or to Aquaman, or if it was only the art, and even then some of the elements of the art, like in particular the form of people and facial structures weren't always the cleanest or pretty. It felt like unfinished in some instances. And I'm assuming that's just the art style. I don't think I've read anything else with Ward, So it was a mix. I was much more excited to read this than I was reading it.
So for me, I mean, I really like Christian Ward's art. I think it's somewhat of an acquired taste. It's like one of those artists like you know this is good, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Same guy did a sci-fi book with G. Willow Wilson and did a Black Bolt series in a space prison, which was fantastic. Made Absorbing Man a likable character, even though that's somewhat problematic.
Was that Solid and Ahmed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yep. But yeah, I like this book. I mean, I think I can see where it's going. You have Aquaman, which typically is the character that is all about the ocean. He's about protecting his kingdom. But this one's set up as somebody who's really struggling with being a man between worlds, and almost actively fighting against having to be in the water. And then you have our POV character, Miss Verne, which nice allusion to Jules Verne there.
Yep.
Being almost the opposite, someone from land who is being drawn to the sea. So, and they meet up somehow, and maybe it's them kind of finding that balance between each other if they do meet up. I mean, it could also be that Aquaman just becomes this mythical character for her. It's her Moby Dick, her great white whale. For this, the Sea King is a story her dad told her, and it's not a Ram V book without flashbacks to family memories.
Right.
which I was like, all right, I like it. It's got the Ram V flavor to it. And then it's got a horror tinge to it. And then like with that horror tinge, you got some kind of action thriller because Black Manta's around too. It's like these weird amalgamation of different kind of genres in a way that I'm still not quite sure how it all comes together, but I'm very excited to read it. And I like the way the book felt especially in the submarine, it felt very constricted. A lot of the panels were, I think I remember that one panel of Miss Verne in in her sleeping quarters, and like the panels, there was maybe like 5 panels that were like in the middle of the page, but there was a lot of open space where it was drawn out around it, so it felt really constricted and claustrophobic, which that's how you make a underwater book scary for me, because that's the scary part about it, in my opinion.
And then you get this. Like,
Yeah.
look at this. This is
The King of the Sea.
Great.
this 2-page splash is just Aquaman going into the depths to fight this, octopus,
Kraken.
maybe Kraken, right?
Beak.
And you can see like the hint of light in the top left corner there, and he's just going into the blackness, and you can, that says a lot about the Aquaman character and what he's called to do. And how foreign that must be, how weird that must be for a person. Because wasn't Aquaman raised on land?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, obviously he's been doing this for a while, but like the idea that as a human being, you're going to go to the depths of the ocean, which is as foreign as space. So that goes back to what Marco was saying, to face off with creatures that are like borderline out of this world. So like conceptually, I think everything works. Brass tacks, story and dialogue, I'm still waiting for something really interesting to grab me. But this is the kind of book that will always have the run to do that. The art's amazing and Ram's amazing.
What's the
It's only
length?
3 issues. So
3 books?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is it?
yeah.
I can see it though.
So
Yeah, that
I don't have long to wait.
tracks.
This reminded me in comparison to Submariner: The Depths, which is a Sam Ribich, Milligan, and it's a Namor book.
Really, I've
And-
never heard of that.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. It's very much in a similar style. They're trying to find a crew, trying to find something underwater. The one thing I'll say is that there's less of an appearance from Namor. It's more of a mythological figure, and that's how they play him up. And I think here they're a bit more direct with it. But contrast aside, this was solid. This is a pull for sure.
Pull, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, this one got me hook, line, and sinker.
It's probably my book of the week, but I will be honest that I don't think that's saying a ton this week.
No,
Interesting.
it's not mine.
Not
It's
mine.
not mine. Yeah.
Oh,
All right, well,
interesting.
let's see if it's the next book. Poison Ivy. So Poison Ivy, by G. Willow Wilson, with artist Marcio Takara, who is phenomenal. We have colors by Arif Prianto and letters by Hassan Atzman El How. This is Poison Ivy just taking a nice little stroll across the earth, killing people on the way to wherever.
Nice. Yeah.
It's like that run by JMS where Superman was just taking a walk.
Grounded.
Grounded.
The worst
Yeah, this is
action comics run of all time.
absolutely. This is grounded with murder.
A dream.
So I'm so curious. Whose book of the week was this?
It was mine.
Me.
It was mine. Yeah. I really liked it. I had a lot of
Go
fun.
ahead.
I think
It's not my book of the week, but I did actually really enjoy it.
for me, Marcia Takara is a draw for me. Like, it could have been, I don't know, Prometheus, the book. Sure, yeah, maybe the cover would do it for me, Sean. But I can control my animal instincts.
No, you
Mostly.
can't. I'm showing it off for Sultan of Swing, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. So this had direct. This has direct fallout from Tinian's Batman run, which I thought is very interesting, and I didn't expect it from this. In Tinian's Batman run, Poison Ivy was this huge, strong, powerful, even more powerful than Swamp Thing at a certain extent. Force of the Green. She literally had control over everything. She was like a god. But her human half was separated from it. So Harley and the gardener, I forget,
Yes,
one of the Tinian
yes.
creations, fused the parts of her together, and now she's pissed. And I liked seeing that in this, because she was a god at some point, and you clipped her wings is how she described it. Which I'd be probably pretty pissed off too. So seeing her, allowed to be pissed off and do fucked up shit was somewhat refreshing to me. I like how the Harley Poison Ivy thing was text. It was not subtext. It was actually on the page, which we've gotten a couple times here or there, but it's usually, I don't know, in like a Valentine's Day special. It's not like in the main book I ever see. Even in the Tinian run, I don't know if they even expressly said it was, a love interest thing. So it was good to see, a nice kiss on page. And
Pervert.
it was pretty violent. Now, I don't know. I was kind of feeling that this week. I like people turning into mushrooms. It probably helped that I watched the Summer Games Fest and watched a lot of Last of Us footage right before I watched this. And there was like mushroom people. And I was like, yeah, I'm in a mushroom people kind of mood. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Very specific flavor, Tyler.
Yeah, right.
I like mushroom people.
Like mushrooms.
Like
I
toad.
like-
Can anyone do a toad scream?
Oh.
I can, but that's my own.
Mario!
It wasn't that bad. That was decent. I put you on the spot, so.
I like that. I like the premise of what she's trying to do. Like, it feels like, she's trying to get to Seattle to get on a ship that will spread this virus across the earth or whatever. It feels like, there's a time limit on this, which I think, it's only a 5-issue run. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that with, this timer on it puts stakes, and I don't know, it feels fun.
I wonder how much of this is going to be, well, I'm just mad at the world and I'm going to continue to just kill people. Because I don't know that's going to carry me for 5 issues. I think this worked as an introduction. It sets the tone, but I'm going to need some more here. And I'm hoping that Harley comes back into play, as does this other person. You said the gardener, Tyler?
I think that's who she's talking about in this when she keeps saying her. You know, it's essentially her ex.
It's also worth pointing out
Oh.
she is sick. Like she's gonna die soon.
Yeah, something like that. That was
Yeah.
my understanding. And whatever the mushroom people are reanimating, that's a draw. That's
Yeah.
cool because it looks
Yeah.
like okay, that there's gonna be repercussions from that.
Drawing the
It also-
Shroom Squad. There we go.
It also feels a bit unintended. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the way it played out in the book. So that's cool.
Marco, green question for you.
Shoot.
Could this be a rot situation
No, because there is a parliament for
for
fungus.
mushrooms? Okay. Is there an avatar?
There was, but it's not been seen since Future's End.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You know what? I didn't think about that. That'd be kind of hype. Sorry, Sean.
No, you're good. I didn't hate this. I thought it was solid. I don't know. I guess Poison Ivy's quest really didn't do anything for me. Watching her kill people, I could do without this. The last few pages were pretty cool, like when she's all in color and vibrant and stuff like that. That's pretty awesome. She reminded me of the Phoenix, but in color scheme, like the green and red, like that. But just her being oh, I'm mad, so people are gonna die now. No, I'm not into that. That's not cool. And I really don't know what DC is trying to do with Poison Ivy. I don't get it at all. And if these people that she's killed are gonna somehow be alive later, and that's the idea that she didn't really kill anybody, that's a cop out. But I don't think that's where it's going. I think she's a violent murderer. And so for that reason, I say, why the hell does this comic exist? People were so angry that the Joker comic existed when it was first announced. And then it was like a Jim Gordon book and everybody was cool with that because it was a different angle. This is a Poison Ivy book where no, I wouldn't know anything about it. There's a Poison Ivy book where she's just straight killing people. I'm not into it.
Hey, man. Hurt people hurt people. It's the saying.
But again, that's enough to bring me in. But to your point, Sean, I don't want that to be the whole story. If that's what this is going to be, I'm going to be out by issue like 3.
It probably won't because of how talented G. Willow Wilson is. Like, that's something that's worth stating for sure, is that this is a creative team that can do anything. And so I'm always going to want to see what they have to say. But to me, this issue it's only expressing that Ivy is mad and people will pay, which I feel like is what we've been hearing about Poison Ivy for the entirety of her existence. They had her in a more interesting place. Now they're taking her away from that, and she's back to murder. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's why I think there's...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go, Kyle. You're good.
I think I like that she has a reason. That's more than, well, people are destroying the earth. You guys gotta die. It's more than that. It's, I had this ultimate power and that's been taken away. Now I'm dying. Fuck all this.
Catherine, it should be in your comic shop. It's a brand new number 1 comic with Poison Ivy on it. I would argue Poison Ivy is probably one of DC's most famous characters that isn't, everywhere in transmedia, like outside of comic books. Like, you get people to name Batman characters, I would guess Poison Ivy is pretty high up there. It's got recognition. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, she had a movie. Say what you will about it. Content aside, she was the villain of a movie.
And if that's the case,
Uma Thurman one.
If that's the case, I would say Mr. Freeze is more. He'd be higher than Poison Ivy.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Pull.
Book of the week, pull.
Yeah, pull.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Sylv, you're a big Uma fan, huh?
Yeah, she's coming for you, homie.
I don't know if I can say
Oh,
this was
no.
an NDA. I worked with Uma, very nice lady.
Word.
Awkward FaceTime calls for tech stuff.
Did you say wait? Did you
tremendous.
say I can't disclose?
Hold on. I dropped her name real quick. Let me pick it up. Fell under my desk.
All right, let's talk about Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor. We have had the Poison Ivy argument regarding the movie enough.
Oh no, we're
With
gonna
Sylph.
have it again. You know what? Palling around. This is the topic
Oh,
tonight.
God. So this was pretty good. This was pretty good. Like,
Surprised?
it's sorry.
Yeah. Why are you surprised? You seemed like surprised that it was good.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've read anything by Torrin Grönbeck.
Okay.
I know that she's been in the sandbox for like a little bit of time. I think maybe she did the Valkyrie book.
She did. Yeah. She
yeah.
worked with Jason Aaron. I think this might be her first solo thing. At least big solo thing. But yeah, you're right.
Right. I feel like there was a mini somewhere, but so this says part 1 of 5. So I kind of wish this was something bigger, but in any event, Torrin Grönbeck, Michael Dowling, Jesus Albertov, and Joe Sabino did the letters. First of all, and this is why this wasn't my book of the week, because I wanted it to be. It takes a while to orient yourself into what the hell is happening in this comic book.
I thought that
At
was
least-
just me.
No.
Okay.
As someone who's pretty well versed, I was like, well, why is this person wearing this costume? Who the hell is that? What the hell are they doing? There was a lot of that I was experiencing throughout. Obviously, there's context that I'm missing. I have not kept up with,
Okay.
with this stuff over the last, I don't know, couple of years. So a lot of people in positions that are not typical. All right, we can live with that. The first few pages sort of felt wasted, and I'm not sure if I missed what I was supposed to get, but like this mission that they're on to find out who's doesn't have a soul or whatever. Like, okay, that happened, but then what? What was the point of that? Past that, though, it was great to see Jane again, Jane Foster. She rejects the full power of Thor when the hammer comes crashing through her window. Thor Odin's son is gone for some reason, and he gives her the hammer. She rejects the power. I kind of felt that was like lame. And for no reason. If the situation is that dire that Thor's out of the picture, you probably want the power.
I was confused by that, like, cause like it felt like she didn't fully. It felt like the difference between going Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan. Like that's the best comparison I could make. Like I didn't get that. Like she didn't get the blonde hair for a second, then she did. What's that about? And then she's Valkyrie, but like not.
The way I read that is because she is her own character now. Valkyrie is a thing.
Yeah.
That's who she is. And she's accepted that and kind of thrived in it. I think she's technically an Avenger right now. And she has that power set where she can see that purple orb above people's heads because she ushers people to the afterlife. So the bigger the orb, the closer they are to death. That's like her power. But her not wanting to take that is just because she's not Thor. You know, she is her own thing. And I think seeing her fight that is going to be interesting in this because I think that's what the story is. You know, her constantly wanting to not have to tap into that power. And then will because there's a movie coming out, you know, so.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Most of your complaints, Sean, I don't keep up with Thor, and I felt fine about everything that happened here. I felt like the pages where they had the purple orbs or whatever. I thought that was a great explanation of who she is and what she does now, and I guess she hangs out with the Avengers. Um, cool. And now Sif is Helmdall. All right, cool. Um, yeah, I don't know. Everything worked about this for me. I really enjoyed this. This was my book of the week.
Good. Okay.
Man, if you like this, Kel, you really need to check out the Jane Foster Valkyrie stuff.
Mm.
It's by the guy who did that. The art. It's by the guy. It's by Torrin Grönbeck and Jason Aaron, and the artist who did that Captain America book. That really good artist. That was like the both Caps Arnim Zola fighting thing.
The Zero issue or whatever.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, I'm definitely not gonna read it then. I didn't like that art whatsoever.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Craven the Hunter being the main villain, is that even
No,
No,
even
I'm
worse,
just
actually.
digging it further. Okay. I recommend it. That sounds pretty good.
Man, I was lost. Dude, this was the one book that I put down for a second. I'm like, all right, let me go get breakfast. I'll come back to this. I couldn't figure it out.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand who these people are. Like, I don't necessarily know what Heimdall's role would be regularly, and now Sif is in this role. I don't know the backstory behind Jane Foster, who is or is not Valkyrie, but also could be Thor, depending on the power that is imbued in the hammer, which also happens to be Odin, but Thor is not.
Oh yeah, they don't even describe that. Yeah.
Like,
as you're describing it, I'm realizing how much homework there is.
Yeah, like there's a lot going on in this comic book.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's because like they even show like Rose Solomon, who was like a major character in the Mighty Thor run. Beta Ray Bill's
Right.
status quo is in this.
oh, I know who he was.
Oh, there we go. All right. Thanks,
I
Danny
was
Warren
like,
Johnson.
I was like, hey, that guy.
And then they show like Curse without his curse gear on, and you're supposed to be like, oh, Algrim the Strong. I know who that is. But like, yeah, I do because I've read Thor consistently for a decade.
Yeah,
like,
I think
sure.
that's the thing with a lot of this Thor stuff. I'm coming in with knowledge from the movies, and that's about it. Like I have a knowledge to start from there, and I mean, okay, here we go.
You've shocked Sean. He's so surprised that you enjoyed this comic.
I like how
killed it.
where it froze. Yeah, Sean, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Okay, he's gonna drop out for a second.
He's in utter awe. Oh no!
But like, I understand why they're doing this. They have to put out a Jane Foster as Thor book currently.
Yeah.
Corporate synergy. But also, like, I can see as the writer not wanting to make her Thor again because it negates the character growth. So it's like editorial and the actual story kind of conflicting, and I can see that on the page.
Yeah, I think I like that conflict though.
Sure.
I feel like that works, and I like that straight refusal to not take the Thor power. I think as especially as like a cancer, I didn't read the Mighty Thor, but like, as a cancer survivor, she gets through it because she's Thor. Well, then who is Jane Foster, right? Like you want to stand on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, I get it. So yeah, Sean's internet went out because God forbid Spectrum maintains a good internet connection, and whenever the heat gets slightly above warm, thanks,
A little
thanks, New York
sweaty.
City. Let me just.
Can you
readjust
can you
here.
move
Yeah.
you into the other box?
What? Yeah. I fixed it.
Oh,
Yeah,
or
I went straight to
better.
the- Boom! Look at that. So maybe Sean
Professionals
will be
over here.
back. But would you guys pass or pull? That's what we say, right?
Yeah, I'd pull.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
This was not the book for me, so I'm not going to judge it on that. I'm assuming this is a pull. Kale liked it. That's enough for a fucking pull. Okay,
That's a big deal.
that's a huge deal.
Kale liked what is essentially a movie tie-in book.
What is? Where's Matt? Because Matt needs to be here to see this shit.
I'll let him know about it. I think he's watching video game stuff right now, but
Is that still on?
it's Summer Games Fest, Cal.
Yeah, I know. I watched
It's going to
part
be
of
the
it.
whole summer.
It's still going? Good grief.
Yeah. But yeah. So, Marco, you also had, or we all did, apparently, had a tag that Sean can't talk about right now. But I guess I'll fill in for it. So we were all tasked with reading whatever we could of Batman: The White Knight by Sean.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sean Gordon Murphy with Matt
should we-
Hollingsworth in colors.
Before we do this, should we wait to...
It's too obtuse, his time frame, so
should we vamp a little? We can talk about bullshit video games. This is our show now.
Talk about it for a bit. I'll check in with him.
I didn't watch enough of this. I don't know enough about video games.
Oh, let me vamp
It's
about
not-
one thing that I didn't watch.
It's not Pokemon, so I don't particularly care about it.
I liked this book.
We're going to White Knight.
just fucking
Kale was
going
gonna
to White
vamp.
Knight. All right.
Yeah, he was gonna. Yeah, we're just going to White Knight. Well,
All right.
it's spectrumitis right now.
Usually when Sean recommends something that is Batman related, I'm like, okay, I'll read it. I'll see what it's about. I might not continue it.
Like a
This was
cordial,
one of
okay.
those-
Don't.
And this was one of those instances where I was like, oh, you know what? I like this. I like this enough to keep going. I bookmarked the rest of these. I read the first 2 issues. And I bookmarked the rest so I can like download. I downloaded it already so I can read it to get to it later. I had fun. The premise is interesting. The art, phenomenal. And I'm a huge fan of Matt Hollingsworth. Absolute fan.
Right?
So good. He did Witches was the first time I think I've ever seen like some of his stuff, and that's where he went
Is he
all out.
Jock's typical colorist?
I believe he is. Yeah,
That smells about right. Yeah.
it definitely smells right. Great book, cool idea, and then the fact that Joker turns into this fucking lawyer and aristocrat type, like, wild.
Oh, man, I should have kept going.
It's good. It's real good.
It takes turns. I would keep going.
Does it?
If you have the time, just keep going. It's fun.
Yeah,
It's strangely fun.
I might have to borrow someone's DC subscription. Mark.
I'll do it as
Because I'm not gonna pay the $30 or whatever they were trying to get me to do it on Amazon. It's crazy.
I got you.
So oh, go ahead, Cal. Yeah.
Well, so for me, I read the first issue and then the Victor Freeze special. The first issue I enjoyed. I liked that it had a bit. It felt like an arm of the animated series.
Just about to mention that. Yep.
Which I think is an interesting twist, and an interesting sort of continuation that isn't really relied upon anymore, except in the animated series books or whatever.
Sure.
But the turn with Jack Napier, I think, is also really interesting. I was not aware Bruce was a character in this book. I always thought this book was actually about the Joker becoming Batman.
Oh, interesting.
So I actually don't know what this book is about.
You definitely don't.
You don't.
Great.
Yeah. No, one of the things I do like about it is very influenced by the animated series.
Yeah.
And
Aesthetically.
there's one thing that nobody can deny about Sean Gordon Murphy is that dude can draw a goddamn car.
Yep.
He draws the shit out of like motorcycles and cars and stuff. And I will say, keep reading. Just keep reading. It gets real good. There's more. So he's kind of building his own corner of the DC universe. This is the beginning of it. There was another White
Yeah.
Knight series. There was the Harley Quinn one, written by his wife, I believe, which was very good, honestly. But I don't want to spoil that one because it's very based on what happens in the previous two
He's
volumes.
got a Batman Beyond one now, doesn't he?
Which is a direct continuation of the second.
Yeah.
It's like the third, the prequel.
Oh, because White Knight 2 came out. He did a Harley Quinn thing, right?
Yeah, his wife did, and then he worked on it as well. And then I think that was drawn by Matteo Scalera, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. And the third one, Beyond the White Knight, is essentially if the timelines of Batman Beyond and animated series, we were like right in the middle ground of like when things started transitioning. That's where that one sits.
Ooh, that's
I think it's right
cool.
down your guys' alley, honestly, and it's just good looking.
For the aesthetic that gets built out here, super gothic, like especially when we were on the rooftops in that first issue, and just like the cars going over things, it just felt very apropos for those times. Like it's great.
Yeah, I recommend it. So, who gets the?
I want to talk about the freeze issue real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sean was saying that was a big deal, and I don't get it.
That was the one I didn't read. Was it like is it in the vein of the animated episode?
No.
It's different.
It so the story, the Mr. Freeze special revolves around Victor Freeze's family in World War II.
Oh yeah.
They're so it starts. Victor's father is scientific partners with another guy who is Jewish, and they're in Germany, which quickly becomes Nazi Germany. And Victor's father ends up working with the Nazis because he sees it as the only way to continue their research and stay alive. Obviously, the Jewish guys have a problem with this. So they don't want to be held up by Freeze. So they try to escape. They try to take Victor with them because they get really close. But they're captured, and Baron von Freeze has made an ice ray to stop the Nazis, and he uses it to stop the Nazis.
I'm kind of upset you read that before finishing White Knight, because there are things that come into play that get revealed in White Knight. I think in terms of when it came out, the free special came out after White Knight, but I guess we should have clarified that.
And Nora
Nothing,
is
it's
his
more supplemental.
sister,
Excuse me.
Ooh,
right?
gross.
Something like that. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. And the art by Klaus Janson was fine.
Ooh.
He's he is a revered artist for a reason. This didn't do a ton.
I feel like he's I always see him as like an inker. Like he's excellent.
He's Miller's guy.
He's Miller's guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess do you guys have a tag? I don't know how it works with the four people.
Well, who got tagged first technically?
I think I did.
Okay.
Okay.
you
But
take it then.
I just had one, and I didn't have another one.
Well, no, I had it because I gave Sean that thing to read.
I can come up with one right now. I knew we'd have this issue. Let's see.
Do it.
Let's see.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it and give it to me.
Hold on. Vamp, guys. Vamp. Actually, vamp
No,
this
give it to
time.
me.
Can't juggle.
Oh, man. I'm trying to...
No,
Do
y'all
something
didn't. Y'all in the chat
straightforward.
didn't like that riveting Batman talk. You didn't like me describing that entire issue terribly.
Oh,
believe it.
okay. Marco.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Just so I
Okay.
can force this on the show for next week. Marco, you're going to read Savage Dragon number 262.
Yes, dude. Hell yeah. Okay.
So,
27 was it 272?
262. It's back. It's back,
I'm gonna-
baby. So we're going to keep that going on the show. There we go.
I'm gonna order it right now.
You said you wanted to watch it, right? or we
Yeah,
wanted to read it. So
Gotta start. Gotta start somewhere.
yeah, you have to, and I'm gonna read it too. So we can. I guess we can both talk about it.
Okay.
But we have some polls for next week, and Savage Dragon wasn't on there because it was just so low on the list. I use League of Comics Geeks to see what's coming out next week, and I guess it goes by the amount of people that pulled it. And man, it's a little lower than I expected. But next week on all of our lists, including Sean's, was Duo Power Bomb by Danny Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer.
Come on, man. No,
Pro
no
Wrestling
fucking
Mortal
question.
Kombat. This is gonna be the first book we talk about next week.
Ooh, Tyler, can you let Sean in?
I can. Yep. Let's see.
Nah, leave him out. Kick him out. No, you don't. Oh, Sean.
Hello.
There he is. You
Yes.
you patched the wires back. You MacGrubered it.
MacGrubered it? Is that what you said?
MacGyver?
MacGrubered your router.
Yeah, MacGyver.
No. I meant MacGruber.
All right. I don't know what that means.
You know what MacGruber is? He's the SNL parody of MacGyver.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
okay.
Yeah, it's Will Forte. But
Good stuff.
All right.
Uh,
So where are
White
we?
Knight was mixed between the two of us. I'm
Okay.
iffy. I'm iffy on it. I read the first issue and the free special.
Mm-hmm.
By the first issue, I could see where it's cool. The free special did nothing for me.
Okay.
I dug it. I downloaded the rest of the run.
Nice. Awesome. I hope you liked it. And what is the tag for next week? Just to catch me up.
because we had to figure out how we were going to do it, I took control and I gave Marco Savage Dragon.
All right. Have fun, Marco.
Hey, you know,
Fucking will.
excited
You
for
know
it.
we will.
you know I will. I don't know why you questioned that.
It's the return too, so like it hasn't come back. It's a start of a new arc, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, his father comes back from another reality. All right, cool. We're talking about Duo Power Bomb though for next week.
This is the book.
Yeah.
It's the book.
And I'm so bummed. I'm actually not here next week.
Yo,
And,
you suck.
I know I suck. I'm so bummed because I really, really want to be able to talk about this comic, and I'm jealous that you guys will be able to.
I will offer you this, Sean. If you want to record yourself, if you have time, I'll put it into the stream.
I won't even be able to buy the comic. Yeah,
Damn.
unfortunate. But
Issue 2.
I think everyone should seek this out. I think it's going to be so much fun. If you've ever liked wrestling, if you just like really great art, it's all here. This is another Daniel Warren Johnson joint. I think it's going to be special.
Then you and I also pulled Captain America Sentinel Liberty, #1 by Jackson Kelly and Lansing, with art by Carmen Carnero, previously mentioned earlier in the show.
Yeah, Stormbreaker.
Yep. This is Steve Rogers' book, where he's going against some new character, which I'm pretty sure it's his son from Dimension Z. That's what I'm calling right now. I'm calling him as like he
Whoa.
turned or something. Nomad. That's what I'm
Yeah,
calling him, but who knows?
that's a big call right there. All right, I
Technically
would like
Arnim
to see
Zola's
that.
son, but good character.
Yeah, decent character. I don't.
Marco, you got 7 sons?
Whoa.
Planning to at some point. Yo,
Not the way you're going.
Pull out game weak.
this cover fucking frightened me. Like, what the hell is this? And then I saw it was Jai Lee. Yep. Instant buy.
Dude, you can put Jai Lee on any cover and it frightens me.
There was just something so unsettling about this, and I don't know what it's about. Cover alone. It's one of those books. Cover alone. Yes.
Is he writing it?
I think he might be.
Oh, is he?
He's
Okay.
He's got first billing on it.
If that's the case, then guys, we could be famous if we buy followers, primes, and views on mountviewers.com.
Oh man, spooky. Thank you.
If Lee is writing it, because the cover sort of got me,
He's not. I just looked it up.
but
Sorry.
it's okay. Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, it's Robert Wyndham, and it is first title, 7-issue limited series. Seven Sons is the fugitive meets the Book of Revelations. Delph, a young man who may be the second coming of Christ, runs for his life as he attempts to learn the truth behind his existence.
God
What?
damn. I
you
don't
back
want to
in?
read a Jay Lee book. I hate his art.
It'd be good, dude. I did pick this over the Bone Orchard, which is that new Jeff Lemire thing. That shit is $17 for 88 pages.
Is it hand drawn or are they one prints? Like what's?
I'd be buying it digital, dude. That I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. I cannot justify that.
Is it a graphic novel? What the hell?
What?
It's a trade. Yeah, it's the first series
okay.
of trade. But still,
88 pages.
yes. Not to buy.
That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, that is 4 issues.
Yeah, but a
Oh,
trade.
it's like maybe 2.
No,
Weird.
dog.
88 pages?
Yeah, there's 20 issues a 20 pages an issue.
Kale, you picked the Ward #1, which I think actually came out yesterday, but it's fine.
It did come out yesterday. I
Yeah.
picked it this week because I wanted to shout it out. Kevin Scott is the writer, and he does a lot of the Star Wars stuff now. But not that long ago, he was one of the stars of Titan and doing their Doctor Who stuff, and his stuff is really, really good. So I'm very excited to see an indie project come from him. It's basically ER meets Hellboy is how it's pitched.
Okay, that's a good pitch.
You read it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
St. Lilith is a secret hospital for supernatural creatures. The personnel are overworked and the facility is underfunded. Sounds like the NHS. Am I right, my British friends? It's a
Got
place
'em.
and a life. Dr. Nat Reeves thought she left behind until a wounded woman with a tail appears on her doorstep.
Kale, I got a question.
Okay?
What is national health care? Never mind.
Wouldn't know. I
Yeah, we don't have it here.
don't use it. I'm scared.
Gotta love it. All right, and then Kel, you had to go to the Mirrorverse with Star Trek Mirror War Cisco one shot.
Yeah. So the Star Trek books right now are doing the Mirror universe. It's just a great big line of the Mirror universe books, and mostly they focus on evil Picard. But I guess this is a spin-off with Ben Sisko from Deep Space Nine. And DS9 is probably my favorite series.
I mean, this has Mirrorverse Kira in it, so like,
Oh, come on.
that's an easy pull.
Easy. And we ain't talking about the comic, am I right?
Oh, yo, somebody up wonking they willy. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm real excited about a Star Trek book. Let's go.
Yeah.
Make Star Trek cool again.
Without lens flare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
Those
lens
are our
flare.
pulls. Those are our pulls. Man, I gotta make all these wrestling references next week. You guys better watch some wrestling coming up.
You better
Be like,
give
I'm
me
like,
some
yo,
wrestling
you
to
see,
watch.
you see when that person hit a burning hammer? You guys gonna be like, yo, whose hammer's burning? Like, go to a doctor for that.
Usher. Yeah, that's it for Pals Pulls. Thank you guys so much for joining. Next week, I can promise you one thing: we'll be talking about doing a power bomb. Maybe Tyler will teach these two marks how to do a power bomb. Tune in to find out.
I'll practice.
Teach you
on
how to
my
flat
wife.
back first.
It's in the title.
Don't know what that means.
Patreon.com/thecomics pals to support for as little as $3 a month. You too can help raise
Do a
Marco.
power bomb. Oh,
Yeah,
Where am I being raised to?
I don't know. I lost the wind out of my sails.
Thanks, Spectrum.
Twitch.tv/thecomics-pals. 6 p.m. every Saturday or every Thursday, 10:15 a.m. every Saturday for the main show. YouTube.com/thecomics-pals. Subscribe for free, like the video, share it with your friends. All that stuff's free to do, and it helps out a lot more than it costs you. Our Uncanny Avengers book club is out now. That is Rick Remender's run, issues 1 through 22. Pretty sure you'll have a good time. It was voted by the patrons, so you know that they have good taste.
We'll see. I know some people on there. Yeah.
That's all we got. Until next week, take care, guys.
see you next week. We're logging off. Bye.